We're happy to welcome back to the show from the City of Jackson Department of Engineering, Troy White. Hi, Troy.
How you doing, Bart? Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Well, here we are, having another beautiful day. It seems like this summer was probably the best in terms of the weather, just as an enjoyable summer.
Yeah, we had a great summer. We had great construction weather. We're kind of in the home stretch now, coming into September. We're starting to look towards hitting the finish line when the snow starts coming. But we've got a couple of jobs that are done this year. A couple of our biggest ones are already done. We just started up one on East Michigan Avenue. So it's kind of like we are starting one, but we also see the end in sight for the year.
Well, I drove on West Avenue over the weekend, and it's beautiful. You guys did an awesome job. And some new touches to it at the intersections in particular. Besides all the work that you did underground and the new road surface, what were some of the other things that...
Well, what you see mostly, especially at West and Franklin, I don't know how we got to the point where we were. I think it had to do with when Franklin and Washington were one-way streets. Mm-hmm. But we had extra lanes on West Ave at Franklin, and the left turn lanes. Normally when you come up to an intersection, they line up with each other. Yeah. They didn't even line up. So we had extra pavement. It was a little bit confusing as to how to drive them. A lot of people would use the left turn lane to drive straight through, and then you kind of have this funky thing. Mm-hmm. So while we were there, we cleaned it up. We narrowed it up. The beauty about narrowing it up is it does a couple of things. One, it makes it pretty self-explanatory how to drive it mm-hmm. and how to use it. But then number two, it provided a great opportunity to add green space and to narrow things up. Whenever you narrow it up, you calm traffic a little bit.
Safer.
Yeah, and you had grass, and it kind of makes it a more pleasant place to be. So.
And I think Washington and Franklin, I think I remember there were times where you could actually drive three abreast down those streets. And I think we've had a couple of other situations where they were so wide, like McDevitt years ago in Vandercook, it was two lanes going both ways.
Right.
At one point.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever you get a chance, because 4 lanes doesn't really move more traffic than 3 lanes. So we would say, well, how 4 is more than 3, but if both of the middle lanes are acting as left turn lanes, they kind of like one left turn lane does the job of 2 left turn lanes.
Well, you can see all the reasons that they could be more dangerous when mm-hmm. you just add more lanes, right. You add more options for crashes. We don't call them accidents anymore. Well, we have some video of some of the projects.
Okay.
So let's take a look. We're going to start on...
Well, that's Greenwood. Greenwood, that was from Griswold all the way up to Morrell. And basically it was a repaving job. We had to upgrade the sidewalk ramps and fix all the toe stubbers and heave sidewalks. And then we repaved the thing. So we got a nice, beautiful surface. It was just a surface job. We didn't do the water main and all that. We mm-hmm. did work to upgrade the traffic signal at the intersection of Griswold and 4th and Greenwood, where that 5-point intersection comes together.
Yes.
The other thing is we straightened out the that intersection at First.
Right here.
On the south side. It kind of matches what's on the north side. Back in the day, those used to be a very long crossing. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of pavement, and it didn't work very well, so we gave that the treatment where we turned it in and put the stop sign in, so that way, when you do turn up on First Street to turn onto Greenwood, you can see and you can be seen.
Yeah, and I remember, I kind of bike when I had past the cars coming on to Greenwood from First, they don't always see you.
Right.
Now they do. All right, and here we are on...
Oh, that's where you're, that's over there on West Avenue by Franklin. We kind of had a funky situation this summer. We had both Greenwood and West Ave closed at the same time. We got a lot of questions. Well, why would you do it at the same time? It's because we got money to do them. What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. Not do them when we have the opportunity? See, there you can see they added green space. And again, there we've upgraded the traffic signal. You just can't see it yet. All these places where we've put in new traffic signal bases, we're not going to get the actual poles and the signals in until next spring because it takes so long to get the steel manufactured and delivered.
And that's a function of the pandemic-induced supply chain?
Yeah, but I think it was even a problem prior to the shutdown. But the shutdown definitely exacerbated it and made it longer. This is a job we just started a couple weeks ago out on East Michigan Avenue, and we're gonna the whole length of East Michigan Avenue from the train station all the way out to the east city limits. We're getting rid of all the lead service pipe for water services. When we get done, there'll be patches in the pavement. We're really not making improvements to the road.
Oh.
We're just getting that lead pipe out. We've talked about, every time I've been on the show, we've talked about how we've got to get all the lead service pipe out. We've got a long time to do it, but this is one job where we've got a contractor doing it. And
Yeah, I think we got like 20 or 30 years to get it done.
Yep, and this one we want to get ahead of it. You know, MDOT's not working in this portion yet. They're working further east, but we want to get all the lead service pipe out so that when future jobs are done, it's a non-issue that it gets that we can just go through there and replace the water main.
And I did drive down that stretch Thursday, and as I was approaching the construction zone, I thought, wow, the pavements on East Michigan is really in good shape. There's really not a lot of issues.
Well, it's an MDOT trunk line, right?
Yeah.
It's controlled by MDOT. It's actually not a city street. It's so it makes it a higher priority for maintenance. I mean, if you notice, it gets milled and repaved far more often than city street. One thing that's fascinating is I was out there last week where they're working. You know, just have a progress meeting, see how it's going. You know, troubleshoot any problems. But the original brick pavement's still in there from when that street was originally built.
Wow.
You know, that pavement's about that thick, and you look in there, there's a layer of bricks, and over the years they built on top of it. It's again, the other thing that goes right up the middle is the old base for the trolley tracks.
No kidding. So over the years, the road's just risen and
Yeah. I mean, they can't raise it up any more than they do now. But you know, you mill off the surface and you put a new one on, similar like the treatment what we did on Greenwood, except on East Michigan. You know, it does look better, but it also gets taken better care of because it gets, in terms of it gets more funding.
The bricks have been found on a lot of those streets. Downtown Michigan Avenue made the central business blocks when you did the big dig. You found a lot of old bricks.
Yeah, especially down that block. But Michigan Ave, it's still in there from, and I don't know when that would have been built, early 1900s.
Did the tracks were they ripped out? The
rails are gone, but the wood ties and the concrete base and everything that goes with that is still under there. It makes it fun for the guys to have to dig through. They have to cut, dig, cut, and get through it. You know.
Do they put years? Because it seems like sometimes you'll see a brick with a year on it.
You know, I don't know. The ones I saw, you just see the layer where they've cut through them. But, I think it just depends on what bricks they use from where.
All right, so that's going to be a while, I bet.
Well, we're going to get done yet this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this first phase they're doing down there at the westernmost end, down by the Coney Islands, and then those first couple of blocks where the businesses are more concentrated, that will be the longest part.
Okay.
Once we get past there, it should move along much faster because there's a lot less work to do.
All right, and the other, I think the other project that you've been involved with, the bridge over the Grand River on High Street.
Yes, and that one is this close to done.
But you're waiting on something.
We're waiting on something. It's mostly done, but not all the way done. We got to pretty much most of the work is done. The concrete needs to be sealed. There's a sealer treatment you put on it to extend the life of the concrete, but that has to be, the concrete has to cure and set for a certain period before you apply that. Well, we're in that period right now. So if you drive out there, you look at it, you think, well, it looks done to me.
Yeah.
Well, it is, except for we got to do the sealer treatment, and then we got to put new pavement stripes down. And once the pavement stripes are down, we'll pull the barricades. It'll be open. So it should be open at the end of this month. We've got about 2 more weeks. Yeah.
So then what? You get the winter to prepare for next year's project?
We're already looking forward to next year. Yeah. we got a lot going on. We've got some street repaving on our major streets on Wildwood and Wisner, and we're going to do some trail construction out on South Brown. We always are doing water main replacements, and especially those lead services, they've always got to be worked on. So we've got quite a long to-do list. It's not been finalized yet, but we're working on it.
You said trail work, the pedestrian
Like
non-motorized trail?
Well, it'd be a non-motorized, mixed-use trail. to, we'll put it along the north side of, no, the east side of Brown. I was thinking, is that northwest?
East side of Brown.
We're going to put it on the city side of Brown Street and connect, that trail that comes up from Cascades Park. It stops at Morale. We're going to take it from Morale and tie it in up at Michigan Avenue, and that'll provide that'll close like a gap. That'll provide a non-motorized route, from Cascades all the way up to downtown.
Oh yeah, because there's no sidewalk on that stretch of Brown right now, is
Correct. There's not even sidewalk, but when we get done, it'll, Brown obviously isn't a great place for bicyclists
Yeah.
either, or any other non-motorized use. So we'll have that connector, and really when we get done, I mean that really is going to close a big gap in the network, because like our trails that go down. The Martin Luther King Equality Trail that ties in with.
You'll be able to go all the way.
Oh yeah, it ties in with the trail that goes over to the Manor House, and then you can bring that right up into town. It's really gonna, you'll almost be able to go into a circle, the Martin Luther King Trail all the way around and back up.
Well, there's probably a lot of people that walk or bike to the mall or Walmart, so that'll be because there's quite a few apartments down there.
The thing is about those things is, a lot of people say, well, who uses those? Well, if you've ever driven by one, I don't think you'll ever find one where there's not somebody on them. It's
Oh, people use them.
Yeah, it's incredible, because you used to think, well, I hope people use this, and now when you build it, you they always use them.
What did we do before?
Yeah, you wonder.
Are you going to thin up Brown Street when you add that?
Well, Brown Street, it's like you were talking about down there on McDivitt and other streets. It's too wide. I mean, that center turn lane.
That was a street that was 4 lanes. People
Well, I
drove
think
4
it was
lanes on that.
and it was a wide 4 lanes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the center turn lane on there, it's like 15. It's like you could land jetliners on that right now. So we've got more pavement than we need, so we can narrow it up and still provide the 3 travel lanes, and then we can use the remainder space to build that non-motorized facility. So.
Oh, cool. Well, that'll be a great project. Well, thanks for all the work you guys have done all construction season long, and thanks for all the updates.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You bet. From the engineering department of the City of Jackson, Troy White. Well, next we've got some birthdays to celebrate, and I think we've got maybe 1 or 2 to catch up on. That's next.